Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to see how you can create a custom bottom navigation bar in Flutter. So let's start. So as you can see, I have this our class custom bottom nav, which is a stateful widget in our app. So now let's start with our tutorial. So what we can do is let's have the list of screens that we want, which is our list of screens. Suppose we have three list of screens. For now I will take just a container. Okay, we'll have our three containers, and as a child, let's suppose in the center we'll have a text called our screen 1. Okay, let's give this a little bit of style and a font size of 40. Okay, so now what we can do is we can simply have the same child to our rest of our screens, and we'll simply change the name as our screen 3 and our screen 2. Okay, so this is our three screens, and let's have our current index, which is int. Let's suppose we have 0 as our current index. And now what we can do is we can, inside our scaffold, we will have our bottom navigation bar. And what we can do is we can simply have our bottom app bar. So now let's just save it and see what we have. We have nothing. So for the bottom we'll have the child, and for the child let's take the row, and inside it we can have our icon buttons. Let's give it a icons dot, let's say we have our home. So let's save our app. So now as you can see, we have our bottom app bar with a icon our home on our bottom navigation bar. So we have our three screens, right? So let's have one more icon button. Let's copy this and paste this. Now as you can see, we have two home icons on our bottom app bar. So let's change the icon to, let's say, message. Okay, now to align them properly, what we can do is we can simply wrap our icon button with a widget, which is, let's say, we'll wrap it with expanded, and we'll wrap our another widget with expanded also. Okay, so now let's just save our app. So now you can see we have our icons aligned properly. So what we can do is let's change the background color. Let's give it a color of blue. Okay, let's just save our app. So now as you can see, we have the background color blue to our bottom navigation bar. So now what we can do is let's have a floating action button. Okay, and for the child we'll have our, let's give it a icon start, let's say, alarm. Okay, so now what we can do, we have the same blue color to our floating action button. So let's change the background color. we have focus color, hover color, different single colors, but now we are going to use background color. Colors dot, let's give it a color of red. Okay, so now as you can see, we have our floating action button. Now what we have to do is we have to align our floating action button in the center of our bottom navigation bar, so we can have a little bit of customization to our bottom navigation bar. So how we can do is we can simply have a property called floating action button location. So as you can see, it takes in the location, floating action button location dot, we can simply write it to center dock. So as you can see, it is aligned in the center. Okay, so now what we can do is we can change the shape of our bottom app bar to, let's give it a shape of circular notched rectangle. Let's just save the app. So now we can get a notch which is circular, as you can see here. We can also change the margin of this circular notch. So what we have the property called notch margin, so we can simply increase the notch margin to 8. So now as you can see here, we have the margin. Okay, so now how we can integrate our screens is, let's have the body of our app, and for the body we will be having our page builder, page view.builder. Okay, so now for the item builder, we'll have our context and index. Okay, and we can simply return our screens and their indexes. And for the item count, we'll have our screens dot length. Okay, so let's just save the app. So now as you can see, we have our screen 1 as a default, as we have our current index to 0. So now what we can do is we can simply declare our controller, which is our page controller. Okay, so now we have our page controller. So let's give this controller to our page controller. So now we are having our controller to set. So now on clicking, we'll write a function. Let's create void next page. So now what we can do is we can simply set state, and we will simply change our current index equal to the index that we are going to have. Okay, and we will use our controller dot jump to page, which will be also to our index. Okay, so now what we can do is we can simply use this next page inside our on press. We'll have our next page, and as you can see, we have the index of 0 for our home. So let's give it the index of 0, and similarly we will have our this index of, let's say, 0, 1 and 2, because for the 2 we have our messages, and for our index 1, which is our floating action button, which is going to be our index 1. Okay, so let's just save the app now. So now let's hard restart our app once more. Okay, so now as you can see, at the first time we are having our screen 1, and when I click on this floating action button, we are having our screen 3, and for this we are having our screen 2. Okay, we will going to jump to 0, 1 and 2. So how you can change the color is with the help of our current index. So we can simply change the icon color with our current index equal to 0. Then we'll have a colors of white, else we are going to have colors dot black. Okay, so we'll copy this color and we'll use this for our messages also. And now here we are going to have our current index to 2. Okay, so let's just save the app. So as you can see, we have our home pressed and our current index is 0. So the color of our icon is white. We can simply use this inside our floating action button also, where we will simply replace the background color with our index. Now our index is 1. If it's 1, we can simply change it to red, or else we can simply have black. Okay, so let's just save our app again. So now as you can see, the current index is not 1, so the color of our floating action button is black, but when I pressed it, it changed. So let's change this to screen 2 so we can have a clear idea. Okay, so let's hot restart our app once more. And now as you can see, at the start of our app, our home is selected by default, which is our screen 1, and when I click on the floating action button, we have our screen 2 and the background color of our floating action is changed. And for the screen 3, which is our messages, as you can see, this is screen 3 and we have our messages to color white. So this is how you can create a custom bottom navigation bar in Flutter. Hope you found this video helpful. Do like, share, subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next video.